Greetings! This is GGN3, and I'll be doing today's animated profile on the Disney-Tokuma deal. This is an agreement between the Walt Disney Corporation and the Japanese animation studio, Studio Ghibli, for Disney to gain worldwide distribution rights to many of the films in the Ghibli library. Before I go into detail on this deal, I'll explain more about Studio Ghibli to those unfamiliar with Japanese animation. Studio Ghibli is the Japanese equivalent of Walt Disney Pictures in creating animated feature films that appeal to a family audience. The studio was first formed in 1984, being founded by acclaimed Japanese animation directors Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata. The studio's first major animated hit feature film was Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, a post-apocalyptic film focused on a young princess who tries to fight off the toxic corruption of the world. The studio is the most well-known of Japanese animation studios over in Western countries. The Disney-Tokuma deal was first formed between Ghibli and Disney in 1996. This deal gave Disney worldwide home video distribution rights to many films in the Ghibli library, and theatrical distribution rights to Princess Mononoke, Ghibli's latest film released in theaters focused on a young man in feudal Japan halting a war between animal gods and an ironworks village. Disney wasn't allowed to distribute the Ghibli library in Asia because Tokuma Shoten, the Japanese entertainment company that funded many of Ghibli's films, retained distribution rights throughout the continent except for Japan. In addition, Disney at first didn't claim DVD rights for the Ghibli library because the company was uncertain of the media format's future at the time. Upon seeing the success of DVDs, Disney agreed to rights for the disc format in 1999, starring Princess Mononoke. While it was Kiki's delivery service, 1989 Ghibli work centered on a young witch's coming-of-age trials that became the first movie to be dubbed and distributed to home video in VHS and Laserdisc formats. It was the only Ghibli movie to be made as a Laserdisc by Disney. A feature to the Disney-Tokuma deal that's well known amongst Japanese animation fans is the no cuts clause. This clause makes it clear that Disney cannot edit the content of any Ghibli film to distribute. This is strictly enforced by Ghibli. The first major case of this enforcement came during Disney's development of the English dubbing of Princess Mononoke. With the film's content being more violent and intense than the usual Ghibli film, Miramax, one of Disney's sister companies responsible for developing Mononoke's dub, pleaded with Ghibli to make some cuts in the movie to make it more family-friendly. In response, Miramax was delivered a sword from Ghibli that read, "No cuts." The reason for the strict practice was due to the heavy editing done by New World Pictures' take on Nausicaa in 1985, their take called Warriors of the Wind, which altered the movie to the point where its plot no longer resembled the original versions. Despite such strict guidelines, Disney was free to make its own soundtrack for English adaptations of Ghibli films, and could consult with Ghibli over aspects of their films. As a result of the Disney-Tokuma deal, many of Ghibli's early animated films have been released on DVD through the Walt Disney Corporation. Later Ghibli films, such as Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle, were released in theaters internationally and eventually later released to DVD. In particular, Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle were nominated for American Academy Awards for Best Animated Feature Film in 2003 and 2006, respectively. Spirited Away won the award in the year it was nominated, being the only Japanese animated film to date to receive an American Academy Award. Spirited Away was a movie about a young girl who needs to work in a bathhouse with the gods, but her parents return into swine for eating the food of the gods. Howl's Moving Castle is an adaptation of Diana Wynne Jones's children's book with the same name, focused on a young woman seeking the help of a womanizing wizard when she gets turned into an old woman by a witch. Ghibli's latest film, Ponyo, is currently in theaters through Disney, having grossed over $11 million in America since being released over 3 weeks ago. The movie centers on a fish who wishes to become human after having her life saved by a young boy. With the exception to the movies I've already mentioned, nearly all of the Ghibli films that Disney has acquired are available for sale on DVD in American markets. The only Ghibli film that has been discontinued from Disney is My Neighbor Totoro, which can still be found for sale on online store sites like Amazon. If you want more information on these movies, feel free to visit this website down below. This is all I have to present on Animated Profile for the Disney-Tokuma deal. If there's anything related to animation you want me to cover in a future profile, feel free to leave a comment below this video. Otherwise, this is GGN3 signing off.